All right, today we're going to talk about something really interesting, the art of being both genuinely smart and, well, effortlessly magnetic. And this isn't about learning a few clever tricks or hacks. It's about a real shift in how you build and protect your own inner world.
So let's just start with a huge question right off the bat. What if everything you thought you knew about being smart, the good grades, the fancy degrees, having the quickest answer, what if that's only half the story? What if real intelligence isn't some fixed number you were born with, but something flexible, something you can actually build every single day?
And this is where it gets really interesting. We tend to mix up these surface-level traits on the left with the much deeper qualities on the right. Cramming for a test to memorize facts is not the same thing as having a genuine burning curiosity. And that need to get everyone to like you, that feels totally different from the calm, powerful energy of quiet confidence. So today, we're going to build a bridge from those flimsy ideas to the solid foundational qualities that make a person truly sharp and compelling.
So that leads us perfectly into our first big idea, forging your inner world. Because here's the thing, before anything else, the foundation of real power, both intellectually and personally, is built one brick at a time, with the small things you do every single day. So how do we do this? Well, we can break the whole process down into 3 core pillars. It's pretty simple, really. First, you've got to feed your mind. You have to give it new things to chew on. Second, you absolutely have to protect the physical hardware, your actual brain. And third, in this crazy, noisy world we live in, you have to become a master of your own focus. Let's start with that first one.
See, this first pillar changes the game. It says that intelligence isn't something you have, it's something you do. Genuinely smart people are always actively curious. They don't just accept things as they are. They ask, well, why is it like that? They'll deliberately read an article from a viewpoint they totally disagree with, just to understand it. Even something as small as taking a different way home from work can snap you out of autopilot and get your brain firing in new ways.
And this quote, man, it just nails it. This isn't just some clever little saying. It's a biological truth. The act of learning, of staying curious, literally keeps your brain young and flexible. The second you decide you know enough, well, that's the moment you start getting old.
Of course, all that curiosity isn't worth much if the engine isn't running right. And that brings us to pillar number 2, protecting the foundation. Seriously, you could be the most curious person in the world, but if your hardware is failing, it doesn't matter. Sleep isn't optional. It's when your brain literally cleans itself and locks in memories. And exercise? It produces something called BDNF, which is basically like Miracle-Gro for your brain cells. And naturally, what you eat matters. This isn't about some fad diet. It's about giving your brain the raw materials it needs to actually think.
Okay, so building on that physical foundation, let's talk about our third pillar, focus. And to really get this, you need to know about something called ultradian rhythms. Here's the secret. Your brain isn't a laptop that can just stay on for 8 hours straight. It naturally works in these 90-minute cycles of high-energy focus, and then it needs a break. If you fight against that rhythm, you burn out. But if you work with it, that's the key to getting into that deep, productive flow state.
So, what does that look like in real life? Well, you work in these intense 90-minute blocks, and then you take a real break. Get up, walk around, stretch, do anything but scroll on your phone. To reclaim your focus from all the notifications, you've got to try digital fasts. Maybe it's just no phone for the first hour of the day. It helps rewire your brain for deeper thinking. Oh, and that last one is a game changer. Before you go to sleep, write down everything that's bouncing around in your head. This mental load dump basically tells your brain it's handled, so you can actually get some deep rest.
All right, so we've done the internal work. We've been forging our inner world. Now let's look at what happens when all that strength starts to radiate outward. This is where being smart becomes truly irresistible. Not because you're trying to be, but as a natural side effect of having a solid core.
And the main thing that emerges from all this is something we can call quiet self-respect. It's this calm, grounded energy. You're still warm and approachable, but you're not putting on a show for anybody. You don't need them to like you. And that lack of neediness, well, it's incredibly magnetic. It gives people the space to be drawn to you instead of feeling like you're trying to pull them in.
Think about the difference in energy here. That eager energy, it feels like it needs something from you, right? It's seeking approval, pushing for a connection. But warm energy, that's self-contained. It makes people feel welcome and comfortable, but it doesn't demand anything back. It's the difference between chasing someone and simply attracting them.
And when you have that solid inner world, this authentic charisma just happens. You're not so easily rattled by what other people think, good or bad. You have your own life, your own passions that aren't just about pleasing others. You value your own peace more than you value drama. People can feel that self-possession. And honestly, it's what makes them want to be around you.
Okay, so let's bring it all home. We've talked about all the inner work, and we've talked about the outer result. Now let's put it together in the magnetisynthesis and see how it all connects into one seamless whole.
And here's the thing you've got to remember. The whole process is actually pretty simple.
There's no big secret formula. But that doesn't mean it's easy. It takes real consistency and a commitment to doing all those little things that nobody else even sees.
So here it is, the entire path laid out for you. It all starts with those consistent daily habits, feeding your curiosity, taking care of yourself, mastering your focus. Those habits are what build a strong, resilient inner world. And that inner strength is what creates a deep, authentic self-worth that doesn't need anyone else's approval. And that quiet confidence, that's what is naturally and effortlessly magnetic.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this question to think about. After hearing all this, what's one thing you already do or one quality you already have that you now realize is a source of your own quiet power? Maybe it's your curiosity or your discipline or just your ability to walk away from drama. Whatever it is, recognize it, because that's the foundation you can start building on right now, today.